That's a Shame is brought to you by the people who support us over at patreon.com/shamecity.
If you have $1,
$2.
$1 to spare, join us again at patreon.com/shamecity. Please.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Pull up a chair by the fire.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah,
And settle down.
come a bit closer.
Settle down closer.
Now I was talking to you that time.
Oh, I see.
Oh, very spooky day. Mwah.
I see. And where are you from?
Romania.
Right.
Fictional. Can't do me for it.
Wow, that's good. And is it spelt like the normal Romania, just with more R's?
I mean, no.
And
Spookier than ever.
Oh, I've changed character. Oh, don't go to the docks. Keep your arms in the carriage.
I was just about to ask the last fella what he was doing here.
We're back. Welcome back to the Spooktacular 2019, November's premiere fright event.
It is the biggest Spooktacular this side of Halloween.
And I know what you're asking. They were all us, those voices. and they're just some of the fun characters you can expect to never see again.
Not return, yeah.
We throw them out and we see what sticks on the wall. And this time I'm looking at the wall. It's empty.
Well, they went through it because they were ghosts.
Incorporeal.
Yes.
As we like to say. That's spooky science words.
Yeah, I see.
And I'm going to be
I see.
littering those throughout.
Ghost has a lot of sort of pejorative connotations.
It does, doesn't it?
So we wouldn't want to...
Like work shy is one of them, I think. You will often accuse someone if they're not turning up to work on time, if they're turning up but not giving it their all, you'll say you're a ghost, won't you? That probably happens in your industry.
do I say that?
Yeah, you'd probably say that. You'd be like, you're a ghost.
I'm getting accused.
You're a
of
fucking ghost.
People are always accusing me of being a ghost. And is this why?
Well, it's one of the reasons.
I thought they just were fucking scared.
That's another of the big ones. Because you have a way about you.
Do I?
And that's why people
Thank
will be
you.
saying you're a ghost to you.
Oh.
But in a kind of, not in a respectful way, I should add.
In a...
Welcome back.
Oh,
Why?
yeah.
It's not strictly Halloween today, and I think we should get that spooky elephant in the room out, herded into the yard up front. Now, why did you let this us down this year?
Well, I let them down because I was extremely tired.
On Halloween from all the scaring and spooking.
Well, you've just got to keep your guard up, haven't you? I was on edge.
Yeah, well, you would be.
Yeah, well, because I was on the literal edge of that veil between the dimensions.
The
between
membrane.
The realms. Yeah.
We tweeted about the membrane. Not a
Don't
lot
say
of
we.
not a lot of impressions
Let's
on
not
that
say
tweet.
we.
I checked the data on that tweet,
Yeah.
and but here's the spookiest thing of all: no one's seen it because we got too close to the truth.
And so they stopped it.
Yeah, and if you talk about the egg
You're
membrane
saying at
between
Jack,
life and
he's got
he's got a
like
vendetta.
a team.
He's got a team that's out there kind of trying to suppress the Halloween chat, and that's why we have to work harder than ever.
And that's why we don't post this actual Spooktacular to Twitter, because it would be taken down within seconds.
We do post it there, but we don't expect most.
The good
much
people
to
at
come.
Cast, they're not going to take this down because they love
They're
ghosts.
allies, they're comrades in the kind of spirit arms. Sorry, it's late, everyone.
Sorry, you didn't get a chance to explain why you let them
No, well,
down.
I didn't let them down because obviously I've been kind of lobbying on their behalf for this to be done as soon as possible, and it's only today that we've kind of managed to.
That's weird.
It's like when you get like trade unions sitting down.
Who are you lobbying to?
To you mostly. I was petitioning you.
Because you didn't send me anything.
You don't check your email very often.
You haven't. No, well, I'd do if it's from you.
You do have the Telegram app. The app Telegram.
No, well...
Oh, no, now you tell me. I've been telegramming you.
You've been lobbying through Telegram?
Yeah, I've been doing messages of video, messages of MMS.
No one does this.
No, it's actually very bold and a new direction for the show. We're exclusively Telegram based now.
Are we going to get a Mastodon?
This doesn't go on iTunes.
I've heard about that.
Wow, yeah. Is that still a thing? That was like a custom social media thing.
I think it's actually getting bigger.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't feel great about that.
No, well, I figured like we should probably go over there because Twitter.
Yeah, it's dead.
It's oversaturated with accounts.
Yeah, there's loads of accounts.
Mastodon's got 7.
One time I scrolled Twitter for ages, and they were all different accounts all over it.
And they were all doing the individual tweets.
Yeah, and for me, that's a lot to keep up with, and I don't know, like, who's keeping tabs, who watches The Watchmen when it comes to the Tweedos.
What about the fact that Twitter for desktop constantly updates to tell you exactly how many tweets you haven't read at the top of the feed?
A bit stressful, isn't it?
It's very good, isn't it? It makes you feel good about yourself and content.
It makes me feel like I'm out of the loop, and it's that kind of
You are.
fear that motivates me to stay and scroll.
FOMO.
I suppose that is one way of describing it. And what's more to be afraid of than a spooktacular? I'll just bring it full circle there. It was quite neat. It was quite nifty. It was
You
a
are
segue.
good at this, aren't you?
We've been preparing, much like, if you do leave a pumpkin out for a while after Halloween, and, they're a fun object to have around. Not only are they going to protect you from those evil spirits who come to steal your soul and blood, but they're just a nice bit of decor, aren't they? They add a certain joie de vivre. That's how we'd say it in France. But if you do leave your pumpkin too long, and this works with Christmas trees as well, and omelettes and all sorts, after a while there's start to be what's that? There's a kind of rancidity in the air, a putrefaction of
where's that come
the very
from?
vibrating molecules in front of your olfactory organ. And what it is, it's that the pumpkin, much like this show, was festering in preparation to become as spooky internally as you could want it to be.
And
then
this
you
like
lift the
when
lid.
we had that one and it just
don't remember
rotted
this.
away on the table?
I don't remember that happening. I think that was your private life.
No, it was in the
In
old
our old
flat.
flat?
In the old flat, we had a pumpkin.
Yeah.
We didn't carve it.
No, I
It
can't
just-
do that.
It just sat on the table.
So
but
just
then,
solid. It wasn't even hollow.
well, this is it. No, it was just a solid pumpkin.
Cool.
It sat there until about May.
No,
when
it did do
yeah,
that.
and then
Don't
like
talk
Mark tried
rubbish.
to move it, and like basically the whole back fell off, and it was slime everywhere.
Slime.
It was slime everywhere.
Pump slime.
Slime everywhere.
That's really good to know. And like that, what some people find that a negative thing, but what I'm saying is let's reframe that. Let's turn that maybe into a baby and say, look, that, yes, it's gross on one level, but on another level, you've learnt about a new material there. Pumpkin slime.
And I didn't dare to dream when I moved to the big
Right?
smoke
Tell me about it.
that I would learn about
You
pumpkin
hear the
slime.
streets are paved with gold. You hear precious little about the pumpkin
table
slime
tops being absolutely
oozing
doused with pumpkin
all
rot.
over your living room and dining adjacent space. And yeah, like that pumpkin festering and turning ever more rancid as old Father Time pulls his claws over its pumpkin flesh, so too has this show been gestating like a kind of unholy Rosemary's Baby situation into the most diluted and I suppose pure, but again in an impure sense, version of the Spooktacular that you could ever hope to have. What I'm saying is,
I have not been listening to anything you've said because it's drivel.
well, this
What's
time it's
happening?
huge.
Oh, okay, it's big, right? Okay,
It's
go.
big, it's solid, it's also slimy, and that's the kind of tightrope that we walk. We have prepared for you, listeners, who, some of you may have moved on to kind of getting ready for Christmas vibe. No. Put the tree back, stop thinking about carols, and sit back down in your creepiest armchair for an evening of terror, sponsored by, well, it's just us, at patreon.com/shamecity.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's good.
That's a hell of a plug.
We've got stories. That's it.
But they come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
The only thing that remains consistent
Yeah.
is the quality.
And the fear.
No.
I'd say the fear probably is more consistent than the quality because
No.
you've not read mine and they're all... Well, no, I suppose they are all bad. So
Did you write any of them?
I did not, no, and I'm really glad we got that out of the way because I want to straight up distance myself from them as much as it's possible.
Right, but
to
I
do.
thought you said that some of them were very good.
No, I didn't.
Oh, they're all bad.
They're not. It's not that they're bad in a kind of literary sense, but morally very, very awful.
So
Reprehensible.
now that's
almost.
interesting because horror stories normally have as a moral something good.
No, don't think so.
Yeah, though they do. It's
Go
just
on.
that underneath.
Jigsaw. What's the moral there?
Yeah, well, the moral is that he's a fucked in the head.
Oh, that is good.
Like, the whole point is, wow, these things are all actually terrible. There's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
bad gone on here. It's not, there aren't many horrors that you come out the other side and go, that film was pro-evil. That film
dunno.
really wanted that to win.
Jigsaw always wins, doesn't he, though?
Yeah, but I don't think that you're, supposed to like him.
Oh, okay. He does look very funny and sweet as a puppet. So I guess if they didn't want us to side with him, they wouldn't have made. I think it's called Billy, that little puppet. I don't think they'd have made him such a lovable man about town tricycle fiend.
Because I think, I think the hope, possibly my hope of people watching it is to say the people he's doing this to have done some bad things, but maybe there was another way.
Okay, I suppose that's
like those
approach.
kind of American. There's got to be a better way.
And you're saying that Jigsaw.
And I'm saying that over the top of him drowning someone in pig blood, there'd just be a red X that comes.
Here's
up.
what you should have done. It's one of those workplace safety videos. Like, go up to the man and express firm but kind disappointment in his actions, probably being a perv of some sort.
And it explicitly says to do that not wearing the mask of a pig's
head.
In a cloak.
That's not his vibe, though, is it? You've got to give him his aesthetic. Otherwise, it's just encroaching on his personal freedom.
That's compromise.
And as libertarians, as both of us are.
Oh no!
Yeah, we both are huge libertarians. We both are.
You are.
We're voting lib.
Are you voting libertarian?
Yeah.
Who is the libertarian candidate for Collindale?
Goodness
is it
me!
You?
I think just by saying the word in this constituency, we're automatically streets ahead of anyone else.
Does that count as, because didn't we sign a document today saying we could only nominate?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I'd like to officially retract that on behalf of me, on behalf mostly of Declan, and yeah, he showed us up there, and there'll be disciplinary processes off air.
It's so strange. I keep fucking up and I don't even notice I'm doing it. Thank God you're here to tell me, huh?
That's Tenant Prime.
So you're saying that your stories actually, they buck this trend by coming with a pro-evil, like an immoral moral to the story.
Yeah, kind of. And it's less about immorality, but it's more about trying to tell the story from the other angle, right? All too often we're the first to demonise members of society who just happen to enjoy murder.
Some of them literal demons.
Yeah, and yet if we just for a second turned that light of truth back in on ourselves, maybe shone it behind the teeth so you can kind of see the translucence of them through your own mouth, then I think you'd be pleasantly surprised by the kind of characters illuminated forthwith. How about you though? What kind of content have you prepared today?
I've brought a smattering.
I don't love that word.
Well, I've brought a big smattering of content.
Smattered it right out the wall.
What I've done, I've smattered it straight into the phone, into the old saved screenshot pics
Yes,
bit.
yes. A sordid place if ever one existed.
I haven't moved them to the hidden pictures bit yet.
I didn't know there was one.
Have you not? Do you not know about hidden pics?
No.
Oh, mate, I'll teach you later.
No, I don't want to know.
I'll show you. You probably need to know more than anyone.
I don't.
I've brought some short stories, some very short stories, some actually despicably 2-sentence long stories.
A classic.
A classic of ours. I've not gone for the cream of the crop this time, though.
That's good to know. It's good to front load the disappointment.
Because sometimes, this is it, is that I've taken an angle on a new style of shit that they have, which is, the very best ones are very bad.
Right.
And so what happens if we take a look at some of the worst ones?
Okay.
Some of the ones listed even on Reddit as the controversial ones.
Can I ask just in advance, what does happen? Or is that a rhetorical question?
Oh, well, what happens is what you'll see when I read them out.
But it'll be good, I guess. It won't be a kind of lukewarm, tepid reaction.
Good in what sense?
In that, we'll enjoy them. There'll be some spooky fun.
There's some spooky fun to be had. Don't get me wrong. It's spooky to think that anyone could write this drivel. But then I've also got a story from one of our favourite subreddits that I'll just probably delve more into that when we get to it later.
That's a lovely tease.
Because it's spooky to withhold information.
It is, yeah. It's really spooky. And that's one of the government's spookiest guys out there.
Spookiest cats in town. That.
They won't tell you fuck all, no matter how many times you tweet them.
So you're going to start us off?
I'm going to start us off.
Go for it.
With a little story I don't know the name of that I found on fanfiction website and thoroughly questionable to the point that I've already deleted this hour's search history. Archive of Our Own. .org, I believe.
Okay.
I don't think they have charitable status, and if they do, that's something for the show to campaign for the immediate withdrawal of, for obvious reasons that will only become more obvious as I read. So settle down, listeners. I'm going to get so close to the mic that it'll be like I'm massaging your eardrum, which I think at least one of us will enjoy, and it's not going to be me. Michael gently pressed the blade further into your flesh. Declan, You felt a sting in your neck, followed by a sensation of cool fluid running down the skin. He made a very small cut in your neck. He watched the blood run down to the collarbone.
I'm just saying I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the second person here. Is that something that you've...
No, I've chosen stories that put you at the centre.
Put me in the centre, but I don't want to be spooked. I have
He
to
looked
go
at
after this.
he looked at your crimson fluid and then looked at you.
Sorry, looked at my...
You saw something in his eyes. You couldn't quite put the finger. Could probably assume it was arousal.
Oh.
It was hard to read his expressions with that mask.
Oh.
Okay, a mask. You wanted to see his face so badly. Was he really a cold lunatic, or was he just scared and hide behind the mask?
Was he really a cold lunatic?
Was he ugly and deformed? Or normal?
Oh no!
Questions raced in your mind. It was risky, but you just had to know. You quickly hooked your fingers underneath his mask and pulled it off. What you saw shocked you. He looked angelic. Didn't see that coming, did you?
Wow.
You could pass him on street and the idea of him being a killer would never even cross a soul. He had strong cheekbone, a chiseled jaw, and curly dark hair. He was a very handsome young man. You got confused as to why he wore the mask. Obviously, he had to cover his identity. But there had to be another reason. What you were sure of was the number of expressions on his face. He looked scared, offended, and above all, mad.
Oh, that's not an encouraging trio when you're being murdered anyway.
No, I should sidebar, by the way, and I didn't introduce this because I thought the author might, but this is Halloween's Michael Myers in the story. It's Halloween's Michael Myers from the film Halloween.
So what?
And Halloween 2. No.
Now, when
Halloween 3.
did they put this in?
No, this is my sidebar. I'm just giving you a little.
Do you know
extra
that's a
context.
fact?
Yeah, I know
It is a fact.
Because the pairing in this story, you know how they do like slash pairings. This is Michael Myers brackets Halloween / you. Now, not you, Declan, just you, the general.
Just me, the second.
Yeah.
So it's Michael Myers, and he's beautiful.
He's hot as fuck under that horrible mask. Yeah. He had hell in his eyes, and you knew you were dead. His brows furrow and his face scrunch into livid expressions. He took the knife from your neck and raised it into the air. You were expecting the blade to be plunged into your sternum. Moments passed and the stab never came. He drove the blade into the table that was next to you. You jumped at the sudden movement. He wrapped his arms around your lower back, pulled you close to him. His heart was beating. You didn't know what to do in this situation.
Spooky.
A killer was literally holding you arms.
Oh, God.
You stayed like that for many moments before he let you go to reach for his mask. You stopped him. Please leave it off. This is dialogue. I'm trying to do your voice. Please leave it off. What?
Now, every time you do this, I've never denied.
Please leave it off. I feel more comfortable seeing your face. He looked at you, then looked at the mask.
Hang on. Am I turned on?
Of course you are. Have you not been picking up on what he's been putting
So
out?
he's aroused, and I'm aroused.
It's a match made in heaven in that way.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong. This feels less like like a horror story.
Yeah.
More like
What?
what's the sort of fiction one would write
Fuckfic.
if one. Now,
Is that-
I don't think they normally call it something as on the nose as that.
Oh, okay.
If you were a fan of Michael Myers,
And you wanted to write some fic about him.
yeah,
Where it'd be fuckfic.
where he would fuck me.
Yeah, like I say, like I've chosen.
Am I going? Does this end with me putting on the mask instead?
No,
Oh.
because in fact the mask is dealt with summarily now. Because you've just asked him, I'll reread it. Please leave it off. I feel more comfortable seeing your face.
Do that.
He looked at you and then looked at the mask. Michael shrugged his shoulders and threw the mask on your couch.
Oh.
You were amazed he complied with your request, but you weren't going to question it. Michael came close to you again. You flinched, expecting to finally meet your fate. Again, a sharp, agonising pain never came. That's the reader. The expectations being
toying.
subverted there, yeah.
Toying with me.
Instead, Michael pressed
Teasing.
himself directly onto your body. I hate, one of my least favourite things in the world, and I don't know if I've talked about this on the show before, is when people write about body as if it's not you. Like, as if you were not your own body. It happens a lot in songs where it's like missing more than just your body. Like, that's just you that's them that you're missing.
Right, but I suppose their idea is that form with any other brain in it.
Oh, so
With
like
any
a
other
just
mind.
any body.
Like, if you look like you,
Yeah, I
but
do.
you had the brain of someone that you hate,
Oh,
you had their
God,
mind,
Gunther from Friends.
then I could
Chief
look,
incel.
I could look at you and I'd be like, wow, well, I don't miss your body because it's
No, I
still
know.
here. But
I do
miss
agree with you there, but that's never the case, is it? Because
What
they
I
just
don't
mean it
like
as
is
pervert.
I don't like the phrase pressed his body, like pressed against
You didn't
your
like
body because
instead Michael pressed himself on your body?
no, because what I don't like about it is the vagueness.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I know it means cock, right?
Oh, not.
But
I don't know.
but
I
it
don't
might
know about
not.
that. Could mean anything.
And where on my
Elbow.
body?
Yeah, where indeed.
Yeah,
well,
well, I think I've got an idea about
here's
that
some
too.
specificity for you.
Okay.
You felt yourself getting moist in your stomach.
Now, hang on a minute.
Were you getting ... aroused by this?
Now,
That's incredulous I was going for there.
now
Were
the
you getting
stomach?
aroused by this?
Now the stomach.
Yeah. Well, it's
That's
very
up
damp.
here,
Yeah.
and it's damp.
Yeah. And that's probably about cock height for Michael. He's very tall.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're not a medic, are you?
No, I'm not a
So
medic.
you should preface that
And
by...
I've only got, I've only really got my own sexual experiences to take from. But whenever I'm aroused,
Let's not make it too blue here, if that's okay.
I
'cause this
don't
is a
get wet of the
family show.
stomach.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't know that though, do you? Because the stomach is wet already. It's full of acids, full of the various digestion
Right, I see.
enzymes.
I didn't presume it meant like the inside of my stomach.
Oh, I think it did. Yeah.
Oh, is that?
Because I guess
Is that
if
his
you
deal?
salivate at Michael's big murderous cock and dare I say scrotum,
Yeah.
then it only stands to reason that the stomach will get wetter because you're not drooling it out, are you?
Well, I would. Be.
Not in front of Michael, no.
I would if he asks me.
Yeah, he doesn't ever speak, so...
No, but
He asks with his eyes.
That doesn't mean he can't tell me what to do.
Were you insane? He was a psychopath. I don't know why "was" is italicized. Like he's fine now. You should be running from him, not thinking about him taking you on this couch. Your friends...
Hang on a minute. I thought we weren't on the couch. I thought the mask was on the couch.
I know, well, I think you're just imagining, like, mask first, me second.
And then he's going to just bend me over
Yeah,
this couch
that seems
and
to be
do
the-
things to
the
my
gist.
stomach.
You friends always told you when it came to sex, logic fly out the window. Boy, were they
My
right.
friends are always saying that.
You weren't expecting the desire to be this strong, after all, so it's not like you knew better.
Well, hang on a minute. That implies that I did go into this expecting to be horny.
Yeah.
It's just I've
God,
been
it's even better
surprised
than I
by.
thought. What you did know was that you were horny, and apparently Michael was too. You leaned close to him, placed your lips against his cheek. You were truly a maniac. Maybe you should be thrown into that sanitarium as well. You were surprised by how soft his lips were. Michael kissed you back. This attention wasn't enough, so you deepened the kiss. You slid your tongue into his mouth, feeling the teeth. He reciprocated the action. You could feel yourself getting very happy. Michael began to move his hands up your sleeves.
Oh no!
That's
Not
so
up my
upsetting.
sleeves. That makes it sound very
Yeah,
tentacular.
well, that's his
doesn't it?
vibe, isn't it?
Inside the sleeve.
He's kind of an octopus of a man.
Is he?
No.
No.
No, he's not. Just to confirm.
John Carpenter's Octopus Halloween.
Look at the legs on that, Chief. Boom, fall.
7 left.
It's like a hydra. He began to move his hands up your sleeves. He gently I don't love this plural. He gently massaged your chests and played with you.
No.
You knew what you wanted
Now I've got a feeling.
and what he wanted.
I've got a feeling that I'm a woman in this
No,
story.
you're you.
Am I?
Yeah, well, it says you, doesn't it? You removed your
Yeah.
lips from his.
But it was the whole getting moist and
In the stomach
having
thing.
multiple chests.
Everyone's got multiple chests.
Hmm.
It's like a spider's eyes.
Everyone's got multiple chests. It's like a spider's eyes.
Yeah, it's one
It's like
chest
a spider's
comprised
eyes
of many.
as Octopus Mike Myers fucking slides his way up onto my tits.
I've got to say, before
while my
reading this
stomach
story,
is drenched.
never realised all the what we call limagery, like imagery of limbs that Carpenter sneaks into this film. Because we've got the spider element, we've got the octopus element, and of course, well, there's so many more. Which would you call to
it's
mind?
the the marsupial vibe.
Because they call him the shape. And what's the original shape?
He's like
wombat.
that kind of like hug.
Yeah. Michael, do you want to go upstairs? You asked. He nodded.
I thought I wanted it on the sofa.
Maybe it's upstairs. Maybe you threw the
He
mask
threw it.
up some spiral staircase. You smiled and took his hand to guide him upstairs to your room. for sex.
Ah,
The end.
no! And that's where it ends.
That's where it ends because it's tasteful. They're leaving that part to your imagination.
Oh, that is tasteful because, the rest of it...
Well, it would be dirty fucking.
It would be.
And Michael, he's got many qualities: strong, resilient, persistent, but clean is not one of them.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Uh-huh.
Besides just being a psychopath, is Michael not mentally...
Mentally...
Yeah.
Way? Well, in the sense that he's got no morality or language. So I guess that's two big ones.
Because it feels now like I'm taking advantage of him.
You've trapped him.
And I know he was going to kill me.
Yeah.
But I feel like that, two wrongs don't make
That's
it right.
so true. And this would be a real explosive court case if your defence were to argue that, well, you're
Imagine I had to fuck Michael Myers because we were both so horny. I forgot the rest of the argument, Your Honour.
I think it was powerful, and I think what I like about this story is the chance to see Michael in not a new light necessarily, but definitely one where his dick and genitals are more kind of in focus than the film ever dared to dream.
Implied so strongly.
Yeah, because that's something that's so interesting about Michael Myers, and we talked about this, I think almost every episode he keeps coming up, is that he has no motive that we can discern.
No.
He's not, despite the fact that like every serial killer in 1980s films, he's killing hot teens. That's just incidental for Michael. He's not going after them because they're hot teens. They just happen to be there. That seems to be...
It's interesting, isn't it? And, sometimes people write about the phallic knife in horror. But with Michael, I feel in this story in particular, it was more about the phallic nature of the cock.
Yeah, and some would say that's less of a symbol than it is just... Well, it is just pornographic.
But is that not the purest form of symbolism?
To just have the thing.
To
like
just
a
have
one
it
to
there,
one.
yeah. And
that's so true.
It's like a double bluff.
It is, because no one would see it coming, and then everyone would see it coming.
That's all they'd see.
Yeah, that's Act
Goodness
3
me.
right
Well,
there.
thank you very
No worries,
much for
no
that
worries,
story. And to the author, of course.
Yeah, I won't be
whoever
crediting
they.
them.
No, I think it's probably best for legal reasons that we're not.
Yeah, for sure. What have you got that... Because obviously we've raised the discourse quite high there. We had a whole post-structuralist chat about symbolism, signs and symbols.
Well, I'm going to bring it down again.
Okay, peaks and troughs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair.
I actually thought I was going to come with some really good content.
Oh no, I thought that too.
But
then I found this Michael Myers story.
I was let down
Yeah.
by the content itself because I found
Uh-huh.
a subreddit that sounds like it should be very good.
Right.
Because there's a subreddit, as we all know, called Two Sentence Horror.
Yeah.
And we've been there. We've
Done that. We've got that T-shirt.
But I found about a subreddit called Third Sentence Worse.
Third sentence worse. What does that mean?
Yeah. Which is when someone does a 2-sentence horror.
Yeah.
And then someone replies with what the third sentence would
okay.
be.
To
and
ruin it?
ruins what was already shit before.
Is the idea that you're deliberately trying to ruin
No.
it? Or is it sincere attempts to
Yeah, exactly.
then this.
Well, see, this is the thing, is that the one that I saw it commented on was that, but then all of the other entries were the other.
They're silly,
and that's dumb.
And also, it's just not in the spirit, is it?
Because there is a good subreddit called Your Joke But Worse.
Yeah.
Which is just people reiterating the exact same joke but dumber, which I enjoy. And I was hoping it'd be that vibe, but it turned out to be people trying too hard.
That's really sad, and it's just not on, is it? Because we don't. That's a shame. We're not into tearing down art and artists. No. We're pro art. I think that's fair to say. I don't want to.
We're very pro art.
Yeah, I didn't want to overstep the bounds there.
So as I mentioned earlier, what I thought was I'd have a little look and see if we could find some really bad ones, and they come in all shapes and sizes.
I thought they would.
These bad stories.
Yeah.
Let me give you just a little taste of say one.
Yeah, do that.
What do you want one that's
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I do. I like that one.
Okay. Shed. This one's called.
Okay.
Bold to give it a title, I
For a
think.
2-line story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bold, but I like it.
People say that I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait until I get the sharpest tool in the shed.
Oh. And what is that?
No, it doesn't say, because that would be another sentence.
It's probably like shears.
Or a saw.
No, you don't keep a saw in the shed. That's under the sink.
Why is that?
For the dishes.
Why? You've scared me more than this story has. Now, I wonder if... What I think about some of these stories is... Now, when that person wrote it...
Yeah, well, they were channeling some kind of Eldritchian horror.
Yeah. Do you think that they wrote that first sentence?
Yeah.
People say that I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think then they came up with... I don't really want to call it a pun. I don't know if it deserves that this play on words.
Yeah.
Or do you think they went into it knowing that was the punchline?
Some ideas arrive fully formed, like when Noah built the ark. That he just found that.
Well, it didn't arrive fully formed.
Yeah, he just found that ark.
Because in a sense, it arrived fully formed because God said,
Yeah.
here's what's going to happen
Here's
and
the
what
plan.
you're going to do.
And then, bish, bash, bosh, there's an ark. So I guess that's like this.
Yeah.
Exactly like this.
Now, in terms of its skull rating out of 6?
Where 6 is like super skull.
Yeah.
Like very scary. This one, I mean, if you'd asked me this 20 minutes ago, well, I would never have heard of it. So I couldn't reasonably rate it. But if you'd asked me immediately after reading, I'd have been like, a kind of cynical 2. But let me tell you something. And I think our listeners will have had this experience as well. Much like that pumpkin we discussed at length in the beginning, it's really started to grow on me and to fester into something.
Now, I just would like to say that
unpleasant.
pumpkin didn't grow. It did just rot.
Rot is a kind of growth, because to die is to grow new mouldy life for the maggots to feed on.
I
And
suppose.
sometimes your jelly eyes will become punctured with the larvae.
It does tend to lead to
And the
a
tongue
shrivelage.
rots away, so only the kind of skeleton under the tongue is left, like a fishbone. Yeah. And so for me, that the more I think about the character that they get across in these
Just a
two
number's
lines,
fine.
the more I think about that character, the more I wonder, like, what are they going to do with that sharp tool in the shed?
Well, I think it's...
I think they're going to kill or hurt
Yeah.
or maim.
I think you've nailed it.
I've cracked it.
I think you...
That's good. Nail. Yeah.
Skull number?
It's 10.
Oh, a 10 out of
That's
6.
a 10 star.
That's a strong
10
start.
star
That
skull.
wasn't even one of the best ones that I had.
Yeah, well.
Now, we've got a new one here. Now, this one I'm disappointed.
Oh, don't tell me that in advance.
I'm hugely disappointed
Okay.
by this person because what they've written is offensive.
Maybe you don't get it.
It is offensive.
Okay.
And I'm disappointed because it feels like English possibly isn't their first language.
Uh-huh.
And I always like to think better of those people because if English is your first language, chances are you're a cunt.
Yeah, that's true.
But here we go. See if you can guess maybe the second line from the first.
Okay.
My husband was devastated when he know that my baby going to be disabled.
Okay. No, I can't guess it. That's such a broad setup.
Yeah, well, it turns out he say that disabled baby no taste no good as normal one.
Oh, I see. So
And-
that's a cannibalism.
And
joke.
is that not the spookiest sentiment of all?
Yeah, it is. It speaks to a truly deranged mind.
Yeah.
Deranged and ableist. And those two are, hand in hand.
Yeah,
more often
that's
than
the
not.
same school of thought, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I don't think we can rate that one highly. They just haven't thought that idea through very
What
well.
I don't like, in fact, what I despise in these stories, beyond obviously ableism, is when the twist is very obviously that you are the bad guys.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, because it's cheap and very transparent.
No, it's quite cool though, isn't it, as well? It's
Sorry. What I meant was it's very cool.
It can be, can't it? I mean,
Yeah.
because for every cynical Sally out there who's like, I saw that coming, there's going to be a naive Norbit who says, whoa, came out of nowhere.
Now, here's, speaking of naive Norbits, I found this one. And it's not so much the story as the comments that really struck me for this. She didn't listen to my screams or my pleading. She just held my head under the water. Must have 9 lives, but I don't think she's right.
Okay. Now, is
Now-
that from the perspective of a cat?
Well, now, see, here's someone in the comments. A doom lol.
A doom lol, what?
A doom
Oh, that's
lol
the name,
Yeah.
the username.
Said, I don't get it.
Okay, reasonable.
Gakor replied, animal abuse, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And a Dumal
That old
replied,
chestnut.
"Oh, fuck."
3 sad faces. But hang on, if it is about animal abuse,
Yeah.
it was a first person narrative, was it? Mum.
Yeah.
And she's saying cats have known me,
Yeah.
a cat, which means she's also a cat.
Yeah.
So it's intra-species animal abuse.
No, because...
It's a cat abusing a cat.
No, it's a person abusing a cat.
Right. But the person birthed the cat.
No, but...
God,
no,
this is foul. 20 skulls. Fucking hell.
Get this
awful.
one on the Netflix show.
really
no, I
big.
think there's 3 main characters here. There's
Cat.
woman doing the drowning.
Yeah, who's a cat?
There's
The
there's-
baby.
No. There's just a normal woman
Okay.
who is drowning
She's
a baby
watching-
cat who's referring to her cat mum.
Oh, so the cat mum's watching and getting off on it.
Well, I suppose that would be another 2 sentences for another day.
Right.
Because
chapter
obviously if
2.
you want to make the cat mum a villainous presence,
Well, it sounded like, because
that like as if they're in cahoots.
it was a story about like old
Betrayal.
wives' tales where it's like cats have 9 lives. And
And the ultimate old wives' tale is cats
it's drowning.
cats are fascists who will help you drown their young.
I think it's a story about received wisdom and about how we should always challenge those assumptions in case your cat mum is drowning you.
It reminded me personally of taking my GCSE in English,
Oh, yeah.
where I had to write about animal imagery in Of Mice and Men. And
Did you go for the obvious mice?
no, left the mice out
Okay,
of it
that's
because
probably-
they're not actually very important.
It's a bit of a
at all.
trap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
hello.
we are on it today,
This
I
is
tell you.
big. This is big. Glad you waited 25 days for this app.
The last piece of imagery that I decided to write about was Slim, who's one of the more enigmatic figures on the
Yes.
farm, tells a story about how he drowned some puppies.
Yeah.
And it's all about, dog eat dog,
Yeah.
almost literally, or dog drowned.
Yeah, well, a dog didn't
Dog
drown
drowned.
another dog.
No,
though.
but what I'm saying, that's why I just stopped at dog drowned.
Okay. And a dog
How
didn't
they
eat
could
a
only
dog.
afford to keep one. So they just, but I couldn't find the quote, like, not a clue where it was. Time was running out,
Yeah.
precious seconds left. So just said, this is evidenced on page 76 when
Yeah.
Slim says, quote, I drowned 4 puppies.
Oh, Steinbeck's grasp of dialogue is legendary.
It's the simplicity of the language.
He cuts
the
to the core of
crudity
these.
of it. Yeah.
Without it feeling like a stereotype, without them feeling two-dimensional.
The worst thing, now,
Is this a story?
yeah, I'm going into a new one. I've got just a couple more.
Yeah.
This one is interesting because it's interesting that we've come from Steinbeck to this, because Steinbeck, a writer,
Yep.
hugely influenced by a very specific time and place, and by a certain politic
Okay.
with a K, for no real reason other than to seem.
Yeah, it sounds
Clever.
cool if you use okay.
And this next writer is, I think they
Similarly.
must have went to the same school or something.
Nice.
The worst thing about the zombies is not their hunger for flesh.
What could it be?
It's
Yeah?
seeing them line up for the popular new movie or cell phone,
Oh.
even though their brainless state cannot enjoy it.
Oh,
Mike
can we dab on that
dropped
one?
its
Can we
dab
dab
on
that?
that.
That's fucking...
Oh.
They fucking got us.
I tell you
That's
what,
about us, mate.
They dragged you in because
I've
you were
been to
like,
the movies.
You were like, what is the worst
Yeah,
thing
I
about
was
a
like,
zombie?
Surely that's up there. That's
That's got to be one of the worst things. The smell.
Jeez, that's crazy. That's skillful as well because they really subvert.
They
form.
weaved that tale, didn't they? Like in and out, ducking and skull rating.
Yeah. Oh,
It
40.
defies.
Yeah.
It defies a
45
number.
now. I've decided because that's growing on me. That's a grower.
Yeah.
Not
By
a
the end of
shower.
the episode,
That'll be off
Who
the
knows?
charts.
this one's a little different. Now this one, I almost feel sorry for this person because they have tried.
Yeah.
They have tried in a sense.
That's good.
They had to do a bit of research to do it. I saw them mention in
That's
the comments.
really nice that people are putting in that kind of time and effort.
But it is, again, just a real terminal failure of the medium, right?
Uh-huh.
As we've mentioned before, like either the story's too short
Yeah.
and therefore has no fear, or in order to get the fear across, you have to really abuse the 2-sentence limit in terms of the amount of information you can fit in.
Yeah, so that they end up being like stacks and stacks of adjectives and different participants in the story.
Yeah.
The crazy old man who was standing next to the scarecrow that had come to life in the last chapter that I didn't
And
get
was
to
holding
write,
my
was-
child's
yeah,
heart, looked at me spookily.
and said, "You're next."
As a proud father, I held my baby aloft and then snuggled her tightly as the nurse, beaming, read off her stats.
Right.
That's sentence 1.
It's beautiful.
Now, this is going to be, we're going to do a little game here. See if you can guess the ending
Okay.
before I get to the end of the sentence. Watanabe Sachiko,
Uh-huh.
3.26 kilograms,
That's a big weight.
50.8 centimeters,
Huge.
born 6th of August, 1945,
Oh, no.
8:12 a.m.
Fuck.
Shima Hospital.
No, I know where that's going to be. It's going to be in the...
Hiroshima.
Oh, no. Oh, fucking no. Seconds later, obliterated. But the real horror there is that, well, it's a war,
Bad
isn't
story.
it? Yeah, I didn't love that one. I mean, they, for that being the end, really overloaded the beginning in terms of like how that information played out. I feel like there could have been a more efficient use of those 2 sentences.
Yeah.
But look, it's easy to
It
criticise.
is skulls.
No, not this time.
Oh
No, I think it would be, especially on Remembrance Day, it's not respectful to apportion skulls, is it?
Are we going to do a little?
2-minute silence.
Yeah,
Well, if you just pause the podcast now, and we're back. Yeah,
that is
that was huge. Do you want to say a few words?
best we forget.
Yeah, best we forget.
I've got one more, and this one kind of ties back in with some of the themes from your story.
Yeah, no, it's not my story. It's just the one I
Well,
found.
your story.
Yeah.
In which you
You were fucking Mike
me.
Myers
Yeah.
in the stomach, I believe.
It kind of really captures some of the themes there,
Okay.
and it certainly captures.
And we didn't plan that.
No, not at all.
That's
and
synchronicity.
I really do want to stress for any authorities listening that we did not plan that.
Yeah, this is young.
It really captures that transition from like violence to sexual violence.
Okay.
One of the classic twists
Yeah,
of any
that's
story.
most horror films.
It simply says, and you know where the last story really kind of lingered, really used those 2 sentences to the max. This
Yeah.
takes a far more
A
minimalist.
sparser approach, like a Cormac
Yeah.
McCarthy sort of vibe.
I love torture.
Straight to the point.
I love cock and ball torture.
Ah, so it's a kind of they're using that clarificationary structure to just, well, I don't know what really.
Well, not for anything good.
No, that's a no scholar for me. That's
A no scholar.
Yeah,
We've had 2 consecutive no scholars.
yeah,
there.
and that's a shame that you picked such skull lacking stories, I suppose. But that's no reflection on you.
No, well, I suppose you're the one giving the rating, so you're a bit biased.
No,
but
I'm
yeah,
not. Okay, I'd love to read a story if that's okay.
I'd love you to read a story, please.
As you know, I've collected 3 stories and I've put them together.
Sorry?
I've got a sort of anthology here. And if I were to describe a through line within them that kind of tears one in part and then folds that into the other and kind of stirs it into a big Halloween brew.
And just to confirm, we've already heard the first of those.
We've heard the
yeah.
first, yeah. We've heard the first in a big way. I can go back to it if you...
No need. I
If you
think
want- okay.
the listeners can do that themselves.
Yeah, that's true. You can just skip back and then, yeah, do the 2-minute silence again though, because otherwise that's not fully respected.
Otherwise, it's a waste.
What I've gone for is this idea of like re-examining some of our famous public figures. We started with Michael Myers, and you're going to see who we examine in the next one. It's a triumvirate, not the triumvirate, but a triumvirate that you're going to see in a devastatingly new life. And new light is in fact the expression. Once upon a time not long ago, I was a hoe, sang Ted Cruz in his bedroom, and I'm admitting it. It was late at night, so his wife was out with the other politician girls, and he had the entire house to himself. I won't take it back because I did the Ted squealed as a sudden... Maybe you do that. I won't take it back because I did the Ted squealed as a sudden knock on the door disrupted his amazing and wicked dance moves. He danced like a fish being electricked.
Being electric.
Teddy walked towards the door to answer it. Behind the door was someone he didn't expect but craved like porridge on a cold day. Trump! Now, you didn't see that coming already. Because when they're going to meet?
Do you think this is written by the same political genius as the zombie story?
Well, it's about these worlds colliding, isn't it? The instant waft of spray tan money and racism made Cruz instantly harden.
That is some commentary.
Noticing this, Trump smirked and invited himself in. That's like an anti-vampire thing to think about.
Yeah.
Ted moved to let Trump by, staring at his ass as he was passing. He liked it, but he knew the front package was a lot better.
Now, the front package being...
Well, what I think
just
is...
for my
I think
uninitiated
that's the presidential Pinot. I think that's what that is. His Lyndon B. Johnson, if you'd excuse that little political...
Oh, I thought you said this wasn't going to be blue.
Well, what can you do? So you used to be a hoe, Trump questioned with a raised eyebrow. Ted reddened as he'd forgotten the song he was earlier singing along and busting out sick moves to. Before he knew it, Cruz felt his space being invaded, and he looked up to see Trump towering, wink emoji, over him.
Nice.
In one swift motion, Trump had Cruz pinned against the wall. He lowered himself to Ted's ear and whispered, "Show me how much of a whore you really are, my slutty teddy bear." That was it. The fuse to light the bomb.
Now, can I just ask,
go on.
beyond the beyond the very blatant fact of the idea of Trump and Ted Cruz fucking is horrific.
Yeah.
Is there any actual kind of spookiness in this one?
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
There is.
And I haven't missed that already.
No.
That's something.
Let me say this though: the seeds have been sown, the stage has been set.
Right, because the only things,
a third.
The only seeds I've seen being sown have been
lust.
Well, there was Ted Cruz rapping.
Yeah, and he did admit he was a hoe. Now that's going to be important.
There was something about the front package.
Yeah. Spooky, am I right?
And then something about a 9/11 joke.
That was it. The fuse to light the bomb. Now they were at it and no one could stop them. They were two old, wrinkly Republicans, grinding against each other, swapping saliva, and groping any body part they could find in their haze of lust. It was like an old Renaissance painting. Cracked, dusty, possibly broken, and better left in the trash and incinerated.
Wow, a real condemnation of Renaissance art.
They were so focused on fracking that they didn't notice a third... Sorry, let me do that again. They were so focused on fracking that they didn't notice a third party enter. A one-man band named Krampus. Suddenly... Trump felt a hard oblong press against his cleft through the slacks, made in Mexico. "Oh, Donny boy and my teddy bear, how could my two boys get off without their daddy?" They both heard a smug, deep voice barrel.
They are the spawn of Krampus.
I think so.
Or
Trump...
at least they've got some kind of...
like a...
Dom sub thing.
I think it's probably both. As Trump suckled on Cruz's collarbone, leaving a trail of hickeys and STDs, Cruz's lust-fogged mind cleared up just enough to breathily say, "We're sorry, Daddy. Punish us both." At that, he felt Trump smirk against his collarbone. If I felt someone smirk against my collarbone, I'd be furious. In one swift motion, both Trump and Cruz felt themselves being lifted into Krampus's big arm and cruised
He's only got the one.
into Cruz's bedroom. Once on the bed, it got even nastier. Clothes were shed like a third skin. What's the second?
No.
What's the second?
That's dreadful.
Saliva was everywhere. It was like a lemon party.
Oh,
that's a bold
bit of imagery.
A bold early 2000s reference. Every bird that flew by the bedroom window and was subjected to this eyesore instantly died.
Wow.
But before any ficuses could be planted in anyone's backyards, that's a euphemism there.
Right.
I don't know what for. Cruz removed himself with a chaste kiss. Interesting. "I need to get the bubblegum lube out of the bathroom. BRB. Wink. Trump and Cramp were getting it on so hard they only noticed the seductive hips swaying away towards the bathroom. As soon as he entered the high-class bathroom, he removed off of the rack and closed the door. After putting on the gas mask, he pressed a shiny button hidden in the medicine cabinet. Abruptly, all of the windows, doors, and any other possible exits were sealed, airtight.
Oh,
Too busy making nasty sex noises and potions, Krampus and Trump did not notice the exits locking and sealing. Slowly, they felt themselves losing energy
I hate
and
when
growing
I'm fucking
tired.
the Krampus so passionately that I can't sense all of
know.
the exits being sealed.
The bodies slowly stilled until they collapsed off the bed, breathing in the colourless, odourless, and tasteless poison gas.
Oh, Ted.
Single running Republican candidate, the Zodiac Killer, strikes again.
Wow.
Dab on that.
Dab right
Dab on the
there.
commentary that time. We were dabbing on the kind of politico. That's like, you can tell that's a policy wonk that got
That
behind.
really is, yeah. They
Really
knew
nice.
all of the like ins and outs.
They knew
didn't
they knew the political system. They know how a bill makes it to the floor, how it gets enshrined in law. They knew the full 9 yards in that regard. And it's interesting. I don't think we see enough of Krampus fucking Republicans these days.
I honestly, there were a couple of people that I was maybe expecting to come in.
Yeah. Who were you?
Oh, well, I thought maybe it could be Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh.
And that she'd be like leather clad. She'd
Yeah.
be like a dominatrix for them both. And they would get off on that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it could have been that. I thought maybe it was going to be like the ghost of Osama bin Laden.
Or Reagan.
Could have been the ghost of Reagan. Near indistinguishable figures.
You've always said.
But Krampus, honestly, I was not.
Yeah.
And when he came in, sort of hoofed as he is, with his seeming one big arm.
He does
all
have a
he's
big
got,
arm.
Yeah.
You remember that from the stories.
Yeah. I honestly, I didn't know where it was going next. And the idea that we then double down and there's this secondary twist of
That was good, isn't it?
confirming the Zodiac Killer identity
Yeah.
of Ted Cruz.
And it's like...
And also the idea that this was actually taking place pre-election. Like, this is taking place during the primaries.
During the candidacy.
Oh, that's mad. Like, it's time
How
travel,
did
it's
Ted
Christmas,
meet
it's-
Krampus? That's the mind boggles.
Because they birthed him.
Ah, okay. They summoned him, maybe. In a kind
No,
of...
Krampus birthed them.
Ah, I see. He
He is
summoned
their
them
daddy
from his
and their
loins.
daddy, small and big D.
Nice. Really nice. I've got another story, but I believe you've got something as
Yeah,
well.
I've got a story here. So this was submitted to one of our favourite subreddits, which is called No Sleep.
Uh-huh.
Now, we've mentioned it before, but not really done much of a huge dive into
No, because
No
it's a real can of worms, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we have read some stories from there before. Stories, sorry. But not recently, not lately.
The basic premise, for those who don't know or don't remember, is that it's a place for writing horror stories.
Yep.
Amateur
Thumbs
horror
up.
stories.
That's cool.
But the thumbs down is
and it's a
that
big
their
one.
motto is, here,
Yeah.
everything is real, even if it's not.
Yeah.
That's literally the like front page
And that
of their
manifests
sub.
itself in everyone in the comments kind of RPing within the often flimsy constraints of the universe as created by the poster of that story. So if it's one about like, it can work quite nicely, not very nicely, but it can be tolerable when it's a story that's like rooted in reality and it's like, oh, I was just out camping and then the goat man came and fucked up our evening.
And you're
people
like,
are
wow,
like,
man.
whoa, sucks, bro.
And then, but then others where they're like posted, and the end of the story is that you died.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
you're like,
oh, I hope you're
I
okay.
made it out.
Clearly not.
And they're like, no, I didn't. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, shucks.
Wow.
But the other thing is that obviously any writing community is always going to be victim to a lot of bad writing,
Yeah,
because most people are bad at it.
Yeah.
And we once ran, didn't we, to be writing officers for our drama
God,
society.
yeah.
On
Roundly
a-
refused.
On a platform of
Less.
this position doesn't need a yes man.
Yeah.
That you need to be told how bad all the art you're submitting is, and we're happy to do that. And we didn't win that vote,
Well, we won
and
the
they
kind
did
of
vote in the
people's
most
vote.
obsequious yes man for the position they could have done.
Yeah. I can't actually remember who it was.
No, it's okay. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
Afterwards.
tell me off air.
No, they did a good job with it. They certainly put a lot more effort into it than we would have.
Yeah,
done,
we
so-
would have put none in.
No, but we'd have taken that title, baby.
Goodness, I've got it on my CV regardless.
This story is possibly one that we would have rejected if we ran the sub.
Okay.
But maybe we're wrong and it's only for the listenership to decide.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Never Buy a $1 Phone.
Never purchase a $1 phone.
Never buy a $1
Okay,
phone.
interesting. Sound advice so far.
This is from listener. Sorry, not from listener.
Yeah.
From user Just Awesome Danny.
Cool. He sounds like a great guy.
I was looking around on eBay and I found an iPhone X that someone was selling for $1.
Whoa.
It sounded too good to be true, but I didn't understand why someone would scam me out of $1. I decided to buy it anyway, since I was curious.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I'm with Danny so far.
It arrived in a massive box with enough bubble wrap to fill up a bathtub. When I got through the massive jumble of bubble wrap, I saw that the phone seemed to be in perfect condition. I picked it up and powered it on. When I turned it on, I noticed it was fully charged. It had no screen lock. The phone was a real iPhone X.
Spooky. That's quite spooky, isn't it?
That's pretty spooky already.
It's just, I don't know, there's nothing you can put your finger on, but there's a general malaise. Yeah, something off.
I went into the Photos app to see if there were any pictures left over.
Perv?
And there was. It was a picture of a guy in a business suit standing in front of a wall. That's weird, I thought to myself as I pressed the home button to see if there were any other apps. Nope.
No other apps?
Everything else was factory original.
Okay, so there were other apps.
Yeah. Nothing else specifically downloaded.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
I took a couple of pictures of the sky with it
Spooky.
and copied them to my computer.
Spookily dull. Ooh.
I copied the picture that the seller had accidentally left on the phone as well.
Mm-hmm.
After I looked at the sky pictures...
For how long?
There's no
3
telling.
hours later.
And posted them to Reddit.
No. Does it say that? Yeah. That's cool though, because you don't often name check the medium you're working in.
It's very
really like
it's
that.
like Inception, isn't it? It's
really
just worlds within worlds.
Fucking love that. That's 10 skulls right there.
I looked at the other picture. To my horror, I saw that this guy wasn't just standing in front of a wall. He was standing in front of the living room of my house.
Had you not noticed that before?
He's got an explanation for that.
Oh, okay.
It was zoomed in for some reason when I looked at it on the phone.
You know when
you just
technicality.
You know when you just get spooky technicality that retroactively corrects my mistake. I looked back at the phone and saw that a new picture had been added.
Fucking what?
It was a picture of hair.
No, it's probably the sky.
I was a bit scared to put this on my computer since I thought it might be a picture of a relative or something. When I put it on my computer...
Well, you got over that fear.
and looked at it, I started running as fast as I can.
Where?
It was a picture of the back of my head that was obviously taken right when it showed up.
Oh, fuck. That's not the end.
No.
Oh, thank
not
God.
quite.
I'm hooked.
In one sense, it is the end, because the rest of the story has something of a very singular theme that you will come to realise perhaps quite soon. I didn't look behind me. I just ran. I jumped through my window, smashing it, but I didn't care. I continued running down my road, then across multiple intersections. I nearly got hit by a car, but that wasn't important. Right. I needed to run. I continued running for a few hours.
Wow!
I got a bit tired, but
this guy's been on his Ring Fit adventure.
But I didn't care. I still needed to run.
Yeah?
I wanted to
Buddy,
look back.
Are you sure?
I wanted to look back, but I knew I shouldn't. I just kept running. My feet were hurting so much at this point. But, as always, and he wrote, as always, I didn't care. I would do whatever it takes to keep running.
Right.
I didn't bother counting how many people I knocked over or scared. I didn't have time, since I needed to run. I had no destination. My only goal was to run. I had been running for a day or two.
Wow.
And I was beginning to think I would die from dehydration.
You will.
That didn't matter, though, because I needed to run. Now, here's the real spooky twist to the story that had some readers asking a lot of questions. Eventually, I heard a buzz from the phone.
Oh.
I had a sudden urge to stop running, and I couldn't resist. I stopped to look at the notification.
Right.
It was an iMessage. ...
Fuck.
I tapped it, and what I saw next horrified me. The same man in the suit from before was standing in front of what used to be my house.
Oh.
My house was in complete ruins.
No. Oh, no.
His pupils then started moving towards me,
That's
even
a
though it
video.
was a still image.
Oh, okay. You shut that off and you don't.
As soon as he started smiling, I threw the phone down on the ground. Seconds later, it exploded.
Oh.
It was obviously trying to kill me.
Yeah, I think he's got that right, to be honest.
And that's the end.
Fuck. So, is the op okay? Like, have people asked in the comments how he's
So
doing?
there's a couple of comments.
Uh-huh. People must be chomping at the bit
Top comment.
to find out.
The iPhone X doesn't have a home button.
That's even spookier then.
Oh, I just noticed that.
Oh, bless.
For some reason, even in the phone, it said it was an iPhone X. I guess it was an earlier model. That's weird.
They're in disguise.
That is spooky.
So that's
yeah.
actually another element of the fear.
Yeah.
Being misadvertised to.
Someone said, should have kissed him.
Should is a strong word.
Just
though.
Awesome Danny said, I didn't risk it, but I don't I don't know if there was even anything for me to kiss.
Really?
I didn't see anything / anybody when I looked back after I stopped running.
Well, that's because you travelled hundreds of miles. What does he do next, I wonder?
Now, Princess Unplug has perhaps the most salient comment.
Uh-huh.
That was one that I thought of. Why would you bring the phone with you while you run, though? Hopefully you are saved from the iMan.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a good point.
Just Awesome Danny replied, I had it in my hand when I was running. I didn't bother dropping it since I didn't think the phone itself was actually dangerous.
Despite you having titled it "Don't buy a $1 iPhone."
Yeah, and despite it having, created
Been the
all of the
only-
fear, the actual
only
only
evil.
antagonist that we were certain of.
That's cool, isn't it? Because one thing that I feel is
Now-
lacking from art is this phones are evil angle.
Well, I just want to say before that, because we don't know that that's necessarily the case, because intriguingly, this was posted only a day ago.
Wow.
It does have the tag series.
Oh, okay.
And I have pressed a button here because there's a no sleep Autobot
Yeah.
pinned to the top that says it looks like there may be more to this story. Click here to get a reminder to check back later.
So this is going to be a regular feature now, as we follow the adventures of the fastest coward in the West, sprinting from county to county,
Knocking
never
down
looking back.
countless people.
How many
does not
people would you have
matter.
to have knocked over to no longer keep count? I mean, it's above 30.
It doesn't need to be many if your only goal is to run. And
know.
lest we forget,
That
his was.
Yeah, and he did sort of hammer
He
that
really
home.
wanted us to be sure on that one.
That was truly blood-curdling.
Thank you. Skulls?
Yeah, all of them.
Oh,
As many as you've got, Governor.
I've not left.
Keep 'em
Not
coming.
many, but I'll give them
Skulls
two.
on draft. That's the sound of them all going into a glass. Now,
You've got a final story for us.
to take us home, I want to remember that yes, Halloween is a time of fear and fright, and we've explored it in, I was going to say this month, but it is November. Throughout the whole of October, we took it upon ourselves to dissect, to really explode the season into its component parts, examine each before the spotlight of TAS Truth, and then put them back in a new order as we saw fit. And I think, anyone would agree we've
like
been...
a new world order?
Yeah, like that in a big way. And we've been very successful at doing that, I'm sure you would agree.
Well, I would agree.
And I guess what I want our listeners to remember as we move out of the Halloween season, by all accounts, and towards, well, ultimately another, because October now is only a stone's throw away.
Well, the next important thing for us in this house is Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, that's the only other big thing coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I want people to remember is that, yes, Halloween is a time of fear and fright, of spooks and scares, of ghouls and geists. And yes, it's a time where you should run away at the drop of a hat. But on the flip side of that, Halloween is a time where we can come together and where we can forge relationships with this realm and the next, and those intermediate stages that could last a lifetime and beyond. And it's with that in mind that I just want to read a final story that it might not scare you, it might not cause your veins to run cold with terror and fear, but I think it might do something better. I think it might warm that stone cold heart.
Wow.
When you get to find out that, yeah, there's a little love in the most unlikely of places. Settle in. Pennywise and the Babadook walked arm in arm down the street, watching the storefronts. It was a bleak, rainy day, so not many people were out, but those who were ran screaming upon seeing them. Sad so far.
That is sad. That's
Pathetic
prejudice.
fallacy. It's purely prejudicial. Thanks for pointing that out.
Bigotry.
Yeah. They didn't care. The two frightening creatures had waited their whole lives for this. What they had was special, and they weren't about to let it go. You need to get some new clothes, Pennywise tusked. You're always wearing black. Babadook! I know black is your colour, silly, but don't you want to spice things up a little? Paint the town? Babadook! The shadow monster responded pertly, and Pennywise raised an eyebrow. I guess you're right. I am enough colour for both of us. The two continued walking. Still, don't you think a pretty purple scarf or something would... Bah! The Babadook finally threw up its arms and gazed at his boyfriend expectantly. Pennywise lit up.
They're official.
It's love.
Oh my god.
It's straight up love. Straight up love.
Oh, that's great.
Goody. Here, follow me, my dear, and I'll show you the best ever place to shop. Babadook stared at him blankly, confused, and Pennywise rolled his yellow eyes so far they went back into his head. Isn't it obvious how I know the best places? I get blood on my clothes all the time and have to go shopping after every other long rest. They walked together, Pennywise bouncing as he lead his taller boyfriend through a maze.
Taller boyfriend?
Yeah, Babadook's really tall.
Is he taller than Pennywise?
I think a lot of the height is in the hat.
Is the hat, yeah.
But maybe that.
Do you think he's insecure about that?
I don't know,
because that's why he wears the hat and those platform shoes.
I don't know. I think if you lift the hat off, it probably is a big, massive scalp, like the whole way to the ceiling.
Could be.
Someone screamed upon seeing them. It's it! She shrieked unhelpfully.
Can I just say one of the things I like is that the Babadook being an LGBT ally and a member of the community. Yeah. Like, so often this idea of the rainbow flag is sort of like forced upon people of that community. You're expected to be colourful and camp and beglittered, and not everyone is.
And that's a stereotype, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it's nice to see that the Babadook
is creating that space.
He doesn't watch RuPaul.
No,
he hasn't got time. He's only watching little kids and distraught,
harassed women,
widows. Yeah. So it's nice to see that he's able to do that while being himself. And
it's authenticity.
Yeah, and it doesn't compromise his queerness.
Absolutely. That's really nice to point that out, thank you. Someone screamed upon seeing them. It's it! She shrieked. Pennywise whipped around, scowling. I only sign autographs on Saturdays. Can't you see I'm busy? It's a bit of a whip. That's something you don't see as much in the films.
No, there's not so much a Wildian element in the films.
He's more just sort of like, he will kill kid.
Yeah, he will just bite them.
He'll bite
them into the sewer.
Yeah, to death as well. Like, not a little bite, a big
Yeah,
bite.
he's really clear on that. It's not about the maiming, it is about the killing.
The Babadook chuckled, but someone also recognised him. Oh my god, it'll make off with our children, the father shouted, pointing. Only if you ask real nice, Kenny Perkins, Pennywise responded, licking his lip and grinning. And that guy, well, he went running. My God, it's hideous, someone else screamed. You talk shit about my sweetheart one more time and I'll snap you into a billion, Pennywise roared, but Babadook just tapped him on the shoulder, and the clown relaxed. I'll make you float, Deborah. This sent the woman running off. Now it was the Babadook's turn to roll his eyes, and they kept on rolling until they reached a storefront. Which implies they rolled right out of his head, went shopping on their own. One thing I'm liking as well at the moment is the characterization, because we watch the film, you don't learn a lot about Babadook as a as a guy. You don't learn about what makes him tick, other than, like you say, the fact that he's super into terrorizing is perhaps too strong a word, but freaking out kid and mum.
Spooking.
But what they've done here is they've really given them like individualistic traits. Pennywise, he's a bit of a wise guy, as the name would suggest, a loudmouth. He's there with the retort, kind of a prickly character, but then life's taught him to be that
Of course, exactly.
because everyone fucking hates him
They really do. Like,
for the simple crime.
the
of,
entire universe hates him as well, simply for being the force of all evil, isn't
Yeah.
it? Simply for being that horrid spider, what he is.
sad, isn't it? Here it is. Pennywise giggled, excited. The store was filled with clown costumes and also paraphernalia.
Oh, now, is he going to like that? Is that...
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Babadook picked up a green and yellow sequin top
Because
hat.
I don't want you to keep reading if there's going to be some kind of domestic between them. Like, Babadook's like, oh, like, come to this shop. And
Yeah.
Pennywise is like, oh, like, you
That's
think that's
not-
all I am?
Yeah.
That
Like
doesn't
simplify.
define me. Like, this is just...
Babadook picks up a green and yellow sequin top hat and shuddered. Give it a chance, Sweetums. We're going to be the sex... I can't make the... It was a lot of X's, but I can't...
Sex.
See a pair on the street. He held up a new white and red frilly sleeveless. This would go with children's blood, yes? The Babadook.
it would.
The Babadook nodded enthusiastically. You're really on the same page. And Pennywise nuzzled into him. You're the best, lovely. Now try this on. He tossed over a bright orange thong, and the shadow immediately backed away, baring its teeth. Babadook! That was a nice delivery. You'll look beautiful, just gorgeous. Come on, take it. Trust me, Bab. So this is like... I guess the Babadook is shy, is the problem.
Yeah.
Because he is a shadow.
He's never
monster.
taken that coat off.
No, not once. And it's like a question of actualising like who he is versus who society is making him be.
And he doesn't want to be objectified as a sexual being.
Yeah.
Just because he's queer and that's expected of him. And it's fine that Pennywise is comfortable in that zone, but he doesn't want that forced upon him. And it really feels like colour is the big theme in that fear.
Babadook groaned, wondering why he was dissed, but it made him happy to see Pennywise giggle and grin, so he took the undergarment. Going over to the change room, he slipped it on and... Oh, yes, Pennywise screeched, dancing around. Yes, darling, it's perfect. Oh, just wait till I get you down to the sewers and... His eyes roamed Babadook, and he bit his red-painted lips till they bleed. A balloon floated up from behind the clown, and it floated over, popping over Babadook's face as the clown bit back a sex moan. If you can imagine such a thing.
With all of those teeth,
Yeah.
the jiggy opened up fully to bite it back.
Really, I do hope so. Babadook had to admit, he'd never felt so good about himself. He never really indulged in simple pleasures like splurging on himself. He was usually too caught up
The
with...
simplest pleasure, the oldest pleasure.
He was usually too caught up with terrorising the kid or feeding off of grief. With Pennywise...
I wanted to get that
hard to
shopping
find
done
the
today,
time.
but I
It's all
was
this
too
grief
busy
to feed
feeding off of grief. I was swamped.
With Pennywise, the clown never forgot to remind him to just treat himself once in a while.
Yeah.
I'll buy. Yes, I will. That seems to be from Babadook's perspective, implying that he can talk, but has so far chosen not to. I shoved you in here. I'll pay for it, the clown retorted happily, whisking the garment into his hands. Besides, I get a rather large discount. He winked suggestively, and Babadook laughed. I don't get that.
Penis.
But
Well, so it's at a clown store, isn't it?
yes, so he's a member.
And he's got a big dick.
That's a loyalty card joke. That's like some nectar card humour.
Yeah.
And you don't see enough of that in the Babbo Pennywise crossover space. Once they had made their purchases, their hands found each other. It's just always that classic setup, isn't it?
It's so lovely.
Hot for commerce. Pennywise's white-gloved fingers closing around Babadook's big claws. He just had them trimmed the other day, and currently Penny was obsessed with running his hands over them. Home? The clown asked. Duck, the Babadook moaned, and Pennywise leaned up on his oversized toe. Oh, oh no. Pecking the dapper shadow on the lips.
Wow.
That's an amazing
Dapper Shadow's
sentence. Yeah, that's really
an
nice.
amazing piece of imagery.
We'll catch a couple kids. Then,
Oh.
then let's share some popcorn.
Oh, no.
Pop. Duke. I do not always finish it. Pennywise drew back offended. The popcorn, that is. That's not true at all. The Babadook laughed, and the clown joined
God,
in.
what despicable noise do you think?
As they happily walked
You
down the
had a-
street,
I didn't expect you to have an answer.
scaring people off together. They truly were the cutest couple Maine had ever seen. And with that, Spooktacular 2019 draws to an auspicious close. We've gone from the sublime to the more sublime. We've tackled issues of running, of speed, of Krampus, of serial killers, viewed from another, more generous, more cocular lens. And we've come out smiling, haven't we?
Oh, you've really put
Yeah.
a great big grin on these gnashes of mine.
I'm so glad to hear it. Put it there, pal. Until 2020, may the Spooktacular be with you always. And also with you.
And with you.
Bye.
Bye.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you.